Hi, this is what a typical day looks like at Krisp, an AI company based here in Yerevan that builds real-time audio processing tools for contact centers around the world. I'm part of the CX product team, where my role is to define and specify the technical features of the enterprise platform and see them through to production. Most of my mornings start with writing. As a product manager, my main output is feature specifications, documents that describe exactly how a system should behave, what decisions were made, and why. These aren't high-level summaries. They go deep into architecture, edge cases, data flows, and the reasoning behind every significant choice. It's more technical than people might expect from a product role, and that's precisely what makes it interesting. I keep a notebook alongside my laptop for moments when I need to think something through before writing it properly. Some ideas don't start as sentences. They start as diagrams, arrows, rough flows. This is a sync with the engineering team. At Krisp, product managers are expected to understand the technical side of what they're specifying, not just the user-facing behavior, but the underlying system architecture. These conversations go quite deep. We go through the spec together. Engineers raise implementation questions, and sometimes we rethink a decision on the spot. And this is one of those informal moments that I've come to really value. A quick brainstorm with a colleague. I'd hit an edge case I wasn't sure how to handle, and rather than sitting on it alone, I just turned to someone nearby. We talked through the options, challenged each other's thinking a little, and within a few minutes, I had enough clarity to go back and write it into the spec with confidence. A lot of good product decisions at Krisp are born in exactly these kinds of unscheduled conversations. A short break, which I'd argue is a legitimate part of the process. Staying at a screen for hours at a stretch isn't actually productive, especially when the work involves the kind of sustained reasoning that specification writing requires. Some of my better decisions during this internship came together during moments like this one, away from the laptop. I take this time to breathe and reboot. A short walk around the office, product management involves a lot of thinking, and moving around helps, especially on days when I've been working through a particularly complex problem. Krisp has a great space here in Yerevan. Walking for a few minutes almost always results in a clearer head, a stakeholder review, walking through the problem I was solving, the solution I landed on, and the trade-offs I considered along the way. One thing I've learned during this internship is that explaining the reasoning behind a decision is just as important as the decision itself. Another quick chat with a colleague. A question that's been sitting open for a while often gets resolved in just a few minutes this way. That kind of culture makes a real difference to how fast things move. Back to the notebook to consolidate everything from the day's meetings, feedback from engineering, open questions that came up during the review, new edge cases that nobody had considered before. This is where the day gets processed and turned into a concrete list of things to address before the spec goes back to the team, a longer focused work session to close out the day. This is the part of the job that matters most, and honestly, the part I've grown to take the most pride in. Writing a good specification isn't just about describing what a feature should do. It's about anticipating every question an engineer might have before they even ask it. That means thinking through every state the system can be in, every sequence of events that could go wrong, every user action that falls outside the expected flow. Every ambiguity I leave in a specification is a decision I'm leaving for engineering to make without the full context of why the feature exists and what it needs to achieve. That leads to rework, and rework is expensive, not just in time, but in trust. So I go through the document carefully before closing it, asking myself whether a brand new engineer who has never spoken to me could pick this up and built exactly what I had in mind. That's what a typical day looks like.